Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back on the path to the Albemarle. And we're on Tier 6, which can mean only one thing. We're on the Surrey. So let's look at our commander. We're running Bruce Fraser with Nikolai Kuznetsov and Philip Vian as our inspirations. We have Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, and Fixated with Fully Packed as our commander skills. Let's look at our equipment. We're running Aiming Systems Mod 1, Steering Gears Mod 2, and we are still running the Concealment System Mod, though I might end up switching this out for Steering Gears Mod 3. It just depends on what you prefer. But anyway, we are fully upgraded, and if you look, we are running the Alpha Tester flag and the Type 4 camo for that extra detectability and also incoming fire dispersion. Now we are running the sonar and the planes and the heal, obviously. Stats: 35,300 hit points with a 22% torpedo damage reduction. We have 203mm 50 caliber BL Mark 8s that you have 8 of that reach out to 17 kilometers, reload in 12.5 seconds, and can rotate 180 degrees in 20 seconds. HE shell maximum damage is 3,300 with a 20% chance to set fires, and AP shell maximum damage is 4,860. Secondaries, you have 102mm 45 caliber QF Mark 19s. You have 12 of those, reaching out to 5.2 kilometers and reloading in 3 seconds. They fire HE with a maximum damage of 1,500 and a 9% chance to set fires. Torpedoes, you have 533mm QR Mark 4s. You have 8 of those, a quad launcher on either side of the ship. They reload in 96 seconds. They have a maximum damage of 15,867. They have a torpedo detectability of 1.3 kilometers, and the torpedo range is 8 kilometers with a 61 knot torp speed. AA defense, 20mm Orlikin Mark 5s. You have 24 of those, doing 73 damage per second and reaching out to 2 kilometers. Then you have the 40mm Vickers 2-pounders that you have 12 of, that do 42 damage per second and reach out to 2.5 kilometers. Then you have the 40mm Vickers 2-pounders that you have 32 of that do 79 damage per second and reach out to 2.5 kilometers. And then you have the 102mm 45 caliber QF Mark 19 dual purpose secondaries that you have 12 of that do 56 damage per second and reach out to 5 kilometers. Maneuverability, 30.8 knot top speed. Turning circle is 660 meters. Rudder shift time is 7.5 seconds. Concealment. Detectability by sea is 9.8. Detectability by air 6.2. Guaranteed detectability is 2. And detectability while firing in smoke is 6.4 kilometers. Armor. Doesn't exist. I don't care what anybody says. 16 millimeters of bow plating, and considering literally you've got more of your ship sticking above water than anything else. Like, this is like one of the tallest out of the water ships I've ever seen, and it gets absolutely devastated through the bow. Just 100% devastated. So keep that in mind. Don't take hits in this thing at all, ever. Let's take a look at the reason for that. And once again, you have a citadel that is raised above the waterline, as well as being submerged for some of it, or for the most of it. But yeah, this citadel gets punched by everything, especially through the bow. Any battleship that overmatches your bow is likely to depth strike you and send you back to port. Keep that in mind. Sequential torpedoes is the British torpedoes that you launch tube by tube. Hidden, good concealment means the ship can get closer to enemies before being detected. And superior HE damage. Surrey, the epitome of design for Royal Navy cruisers of the 1920s. Like her predecessors, Surrey's main battery consisted of 8 203mm guns placed in turrets mounted in a super-firing position. The advantage that this project boasted was her armor protection. Pfft. I don't know of any armor on this ship. Sure, there's some armor at the belt in the middle part of the ship, but it doesn't do a dang thing in this game. The advantage that this was her armor protection, which perfectly matched the power of the cruiser's main battery guns. She entered service in 1929, and there was one of them in the series. Such a good cruiser, but they only ever built one of them. I wonder why. Anyway, like I said, this thing is massive. It literally sticks out of the water further than most battleships do. It's so high up, and there's no armor whatsoever. Like, if you're using the side armor in this ship to try to think that you're going to get away with it, you're not. You're not. The armor is not going to protect you against anything except cruisers. Anything battleship caliber and above, they just destroy you. It is not even close. You cannot get shot by battleships. Trust me. I've been dev struck 3 or 4 times today, right through the bow, because I couldn't avoid a shell or so. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Whether it be through the bow, I also had one where I got shot through the stern. Literally 3/4 of my health gone in one salvo that I couldn't dodge. I dodged everything else until that shot, and I ended up surviving that match and winning and doing okay. But it's frustrating, man. I cannot stand playing these British ships, man. The British cruisers are, like, by far my least favorite. Light or heavy, doesn't matter. They're all a pain in the neck to play. I don't like them. So, with that being said, whoops, we didn't look at the ship. Look at it, guys. It's so hideous. And with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we are going to be on Trap. This is a newer map in terms of higher level gameplay, so not really suited for me in this particular ship. But we're going to do the best that we can. We're going to get some help on the way, and that's where these things kind of sit in their own. Like, when it comes down to it, the British cruisers are not very good by themselves, and I play a lot of games by myself, which is why I'm not a big fan of them. And that goes for the light cruisers and the heavy cruiser. I'm just not a big fan of them. Now, if you take a look at what we got on our side, we have a Jervis over here, and we have a Georgia. And one of them is going to be extremely instrumental in helping win this side. The other one is going to get himself killed the very first chance he gets. Can we take a guess as to who is going to be what? Place your bets, folks. Anyway, we're going to push up to the outside edge of this because, again, I don't like to let people have flanks. I like to seal flanks. I don't like to have anybody slip outside and get around me because that ends badly for everybody. So that's my goal. My goal is to move around to the outside. Now, right off the bat, you're going to notice that our destroyer is going to rush straight in. He's going to get the Weimar, the Amagi, and I think inevitably he ends up spotting a destroyer here as well. So that gives us a pretty good idea of what we're up against over here. And as you can see, we notice that there are 3 enemy destroyers. Guaranteed at least one of them will be here. Now, Weimar gets spotted, and we're like, okay, we've got a bit of a fight on our hands. Weimar versus this thing, it's kind of a 50-50. The Surrey, well, any of the British heavy cruisers in that matter, because they can fire HE, can absolutely devastate other cruisers in a 1v1. Their HE is very nasty. Now, the bad thing about these don't have the DPM that Weimar does. Weimar's DPM is ridiculous, and there's no other way around it. However, with a little bit of help from the Weimar, we might actually be able to pull this off. Now, right off the bat, you can see our Jervis is in trouble. He's got a Moss that's in the base with him. He's already taken some hits, and the Weimar has turned around and started heading back towards him. Now, we see the Amagi. We go ahead and take some shots at the Amagi just to see if we can get an early fire rolling and whether or not we can get away with it. Now, our Jervis, like I said, he's taken a beating already, lost 1/3 of his hit points, and he's stuck in the middle of the freaking base, which is not where you want to be, especially with an enemy Weimar pushing up and a Moss. Like, neither of these bode well for you. Weimar comes around the corner and then goes dark. And here I'm going to try to put up my spy plane here, or whatever you want to call it, my catapult fighter, so that we can spot this guy behind the smoke. And we do get him spotted. We switched to the AP because I thought he was going to stay broadside to us. He doesn't actually end up staying broadside to us. He bow tanks us. And you can see I'm looking at the Colorado where his guns are, and I'm looking back towards the Weimar. We want to try to get rid of this man. Now, we have to go back to the HE because he's bow tanking us, but we get a decent shot into him with the AP. And who knows, maybe we knock out a gun, you know, doing that, but unfortunately, we don't. And our Jervis goes down very quickly, which is not preferable. But you can see we are aiming for the upper side plating here, trying to get as many penetrations as possible. We do have him on fire, which is always a good thing. And you can see he's going to be firing HE back at us, which is the right call because I'm not going to give him the angles that he needs to be able to hit me with the AP. Now here you can see I am asking for help. I've got a Georgia right here, and this Georgia couldn't be asking for a better opportunity here, but unfortunately he managed to overpin every one of them. Doesn't actually score a Citadel on this Weimar. Now we've got our sonar running because we're expecting torpedoes, whether not by the Weimar or the Moss, but we get the AP into the side of the Weimar, finish him off. Moss is coming around to the right side, which is not preferable, but nothing I can do there. And after he shoots us here, I think I'm going to go ahead and damage con. But we also have the Amagi starting to push up, and this is not where you want to be. You do not want to be the center of attention. It ends poorly for you in these British cruisers. So we need to back off. We're not detected, which is why I'm not firing. And then we get detected, so I'm like, well, I might as well shoot down. We have a Pensacola pushing up on the bow of our ship, and we're not able to get into a decent enough position to keep the Amagi from shooting us yet. So you can see I am trying to steer into the island. You can see the Moss is actually getting some shots on me. I think the Amagi hit us too, but not preferable. But Pensacola comes out. He's basically giving me the best possible shot at him. You can see we are taking hits from the freaking destroyer, which is obnoxious, but not much I can do about it. But here we're going to shoot towards the front, and of course this is the one where we get one Citadel and a couple of overpins. But thankfully Georgia comes in and finishes that off. Now, if you look at the map and look at where everybody is on the map in relation to me and this Georgia, it's just me and the Georgia versus everybody. Everybody on our team is on the other side of the map, not in a position to help us. So the last thing we want to do is to throw our ships away, because that allows these guys to then turn around and help the team, or help take on the rest of the team. So we have to hold this as long as possible. And so to do this, I'm going to start moving forward to try to put myself in a position where I can continue to shoot these guys and affect the match, or at least keep their attention so that they're not focusing the rest of my team. And you can see we've got 2 people in Bravo with their destroyer. We've got the Charlie Cap secured. So as long as we can get something out of this, or at least hold these guys, we'll be okay. Now, we didn't get much shells out of that salvo, but we did get enough to actually set a fire, and he has to immediately damage con it. He's firing HE, which is a strange idea out of an American battleship, but, you know, whatever. It happens, I guess. But Albemarle has us detected using his radar. And we've really got to pay attention to what we're doing here. And I'm not going to lie, I knew that this Georgia can easily annihilate this Albemarle. I was really hoping it would happen. And thankfully, it does, as he's able to go straight through the bow and annihilate the Albemarle. So now, we have the advantage in every way possible. We've got 2 guys in the B cap. We've got our guys coming up behind these guys. They've got a battleship that's running for the corner, which nobody's chasing, which is good. And then, of course, we have this enemy Amagi here and the destroyer left right in front of us. And the destroyer comes back out this side, so we're going to go ahead and have the guns on him, and we're going to be able to turn out immediately and start trying to worry about dodging. You'll notice that I am keeping in mind that Amagi, because the goal was to actually torp that Amagi, but unfortunately we're not getting that opportunity. Now, I'm not going to lie, I kind of turned in a little too far on this one and screwed myself. I'm going to take one right up the backside, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, we survive it. Now, obviously, we're being shot at by the destroyer in his smoke. I have no idea how he's still spotting me. There we go. We've disappeared. But we're going to go ahead and get these torpedoes in the water on this Amagi to try to end him before he gets a shot in. So, as you can see, torpedoes out, and we are not detected, so we want to just get out of here. Now, you can see our Georgia kind of, he wrapped back around, and that kind of screwed me, to be honest. Like, it really did. It really did screw me over. But, fortunately, I do manage to catch this Amagi off guard. He was not expecting the torpedoes to be waiting for him. And we catch him with 2. We get a flood, and we're going to go ahead and shoot that superstructure with all of our HE and watch this hit on the superstructure. 6 penetrations and a solid hit. Now, obviously, we've got to watch here because he's going to get us, and he hits us, but leaves us alive with 200 hit points left and a dream. But we're not done yet. We take the shot at the Moss. We hit him, but leave him alive, which is real unfortunate, I'm not going to lie. You can see I try to swing out and get the front guns involved, and we're going to try to finish him off. Now, we have the game pretty well in hand. 600 points, we have 500 point advantage. We've only lost a single ship at this point in the game. Their battleship has been caught by our destroyer and cruisers that's out there, and then this destroyer, I have a feeling, is coming after me. Now you can see, even though I broke contact, he is now back inside my detection range, which means he's coming for me. So I'm completely ready. You can see I'm checking how long I have left on torpedoes, just in case, because I'm going to launch torpedoes where I think he might be. And the Benson actually takes down our Bismarck, which is not preferable. Or was that our Benson taking down their Bismarck? I don't know. Either way, we launch torpedoes, and then the Moss shoots his guns to kill us. We know he's going to kill us. We have to aim true, and we do, baby. Getting that flesh wound. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This took entirely too long to get a game that was worthy of showcasing on YouTube for you guys. I can't stand these things, but 80,000 damage, a pretty solid game overall. You can see Bismarck gets an honorable mention, but Surrey and Georgia holding down one side of the map versus 6 enemy ships. Not too shabby. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.